Hello and welcome to the Swinging Bunt podcast. Today we do have myself. Toby is back in business. He was able to step away from the world of radio broadcasting for a little bit. And we have James as well. We should have a really good show for you today. We're recording at noon on Wednesday, the 23rd. Yes, Wednesday, March 23rd. Sweet 16 kicks off tomorrow. Tyreek Hill was just traded mere moments ago to the Miami Dolphins. The world of sports is just absolutely nuts right now. There's so much going on. We're going to talk about some baseball trades and transactions, free agency signings, so much to cover. We got that and much more on the Swinging Bump podcast. Enjoy the show. All right, fellas. How you been, Toby? Been a while.
Yeah, it has been a long time. It's good to be back talking with the boys about some sports and everything that's going on. And I don't think there's a better time with all the stuff happening in the NFL, the March Madness. I mean, nothing better than this time of the year.
Yeah, honestly, March is one of my favorite times of the year, especially when baseball actually starts in March like it's supposed to. You just have so much going on. You got NBA playoffs kicking off soon, football free agency, March Madness going on, baseball rolling up. It's just a great time. That's why we love spring. That's why everyone looks forward to spring. They think it's the weather, but it's really just the best time for sports. All right, let's go ahead and just start off. Let's talk about the Sweet 16 to get started. It's been a wild tournament so far. You got St. Peter's in the Sweet 16, 2 11 seeds, a 10 seed, one of the highest average seeds in a tournament in the Sweet 16 that we've had in a long time. At least it was an article I saw today. I don't remember what the exact number was. But they said like the average seed of the team in the tournament is higher than it's been in a long time, which just means we've had so many more upsets. So what I figured we'd do is walk through each matchup, talk about the game a little bit, make our pick, and move on to the next one.
Sounds good.
All right. I don't know. Elite Eight takes place when?
Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, it's 4 days in a row.
Okay. So maybe we can do a little Elite Eight discussion as well. All right, first game we've got is Gonzaga in Memphis. Gonzaga, or I'm sorry, I apologize. Gonzaga lost. We've got Gonzaga and Arkansas. Gonzaga had a little bit of a scare against Memphis. They're able to pull away late. 180, or no, they only won by 4. They won 82-78. That was quite the game. All of the one seeds were really tested last week, which I enjoy. I hate when you just see a one seed dominate through the tournament. But Gonzaga and Arkansas, what do you guys think?
I think Arkansas matches up really well with Gonzaga. So I would not be shocked since, Gonzaga is always a favorite to go to the championship if they slipped up here. Now, is this going to be the hardest competition they face? I do not think so. I think next round will be harder, especially if Texas Tech wins. But I think Gonzaga wins, but I think it's a very close game.
Yeah, I honestly, looking at all 4 of these games, there's not really one I pick where I'm like, yeah, this isn't going to really be close.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Zags as well to beat Arkansas, but it'll be close. I mean, they've got some talent on Arkansas, but I think ultimately it's just going to come down to, you saw what Drew Timme was able to do in the second half of that game.
Was nuts, man.
Against Memphis, and they have the guys that if need be, one of them could take over. Maybe Holmgren has a really good game, but they have just more horses in the stable. They're going to get it done, I think, just because of that fact.
Yeah, honestly, when you look at the depth of Gonzaga's starting 5 and even some of their bench guys, it's so hard to imagine someone matching up with them.
The depth of their starting 5.
Well, nice. What I mean is their starting 5 are all elite players.
Yeah.
Right. It's not like some teams where it's like they got one great player and then got 4 decent guys. Gonzaga's starting 5 are all, they would all be ones on another team. Right. So it just makes it so that even when one guy's in foul trouble or someone else might be having a bad game, the rest of the team is probably going to step up.
That being said, I think last year's Gonzaga team was better than this year's, so I would not be surprised if they weren't able to get it done last year. For whatever reason, Gonzaga always seems to come up short. I wouldn't be surprised if they lose a game like this because I don't think Memphis should have ever been in that game against them, and yet here they were. For a lot of the game, it seemed like they had the chance to and probably were going to win that game.
Well, they won by 4. 2 shots. And the Zags sucked at free throw shooting early in the game. They were lucky that by the end of the game, they started to hit some free throws. If they didn't, they would have lost that game.
Yeah. 100%.
I think they were like 3 of 10 or something for free throws early on. And then they made like their last 8 to end the game. So they got lucky. So I picked Gonzaga as well. Texas Tech and Duke. This is going to be a heck of a game. Texas Tech's defense and that size that they have is going to create problems for everybody. Now I've got Duke making it to the championship personally. I just think college basketball emotions are such a key part of the game. And with the whole last season of Coach K, I think they might ride that momentum to beat Gonzaga in the Elite Eight. So I've got Duke winning against Texas Tech, but again, would not be surprised at all if this ended up being a game where Texas Tech's defense was able to eliminate some of the points in the paint for Duke, and we're able to come up with a win here.
Yeah, I'll take it, James. I think Duke. I'll take Duke as well. I really like the talent they have. Watching what Banchero's done so far in this tournament, I think he's kind of taken over like he should have at times throughout the season, and he's seeing that opportunity now to kind of help out his draft stock like some guys have done in the tournament. I think of a guy like Dante DiVincenzo kind of comes out of nowhere and all of a sudden he ends up being a first-round draft pick. And just because of what he was able to do in the tournament and deep into that run, now you look at Banchero, who was already projected to be a lottery pick, a top 5 pick. He can kind of raise his stock even more by taking it over in situations like this. And I think you're going to see some of that in a game against the Texas Tech. He's got so much ability to score from every spot on the floor, even from the outside. I don't know that they're going to be able to slow down Duke enough that their offense can keep up with them. So I'm going to take Duke to win this one.
How you say his name? Banchero? I say Banchero every time.
Banchero.
All right. He's actually one of my favorite players to watch this tournament just because how he controls the game basically for Duke. They play through him pretty much almost every possession. Now, I think the problem with it is I think he's going to be a top 3 pick. I think he's going to be second in the draft. And I do think that he deserves to be top 3. However, I think Texas Tech as a whole does have a better team. Even though their coach, you ever watch their coach? He doesn't really do anything on the sideline. He just kind of stands there.
I think it's funny that, though.
I think it's funny that Chris Beard leaves and his team he left is further in the tournament and better seed than Texas, but whatever.
What was I say? But I think Texas Tech's size, I think, is going to be a problem for Duke. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Duke win just because, it's Duke's Coach K's last year. They're playing for him, but I still think Texas Tech is going to give them too much problems on defensive end. And I think Texas Tech wins. And I think, once again, it's going to be a close. I don't think there's going to be many blowouts, except maybe one or two.
If there is,
I think there'll be one or two. I do think so.
I don't know. I don't see where it'll be.
We'll get there.
All right. So next game we got is North Carolina, UCLA. UCLA's played a little inconsistently in both of the games that they've had so far. Johnny Uzang has had decent games, but he struggled at times. I know that he struggled really hard at the beginning of the St. Mary's game. So I expect them to bring it and have a great game. But North Carolina just upset Baylor, and they're riding high, and they looked great in that game. I mean, they looked fantastic. Scored 93 points against Baylor. I don't know. I'm kind of undecided here.
I will go.
Go ahead.
I think this is probably my sleeper team to win the whole thing, and I think it's UCLA. And the reason why I say that, obviously, the first round, you have the butterflies and everything. They barely beat Akron by 4. But then they came in and beat St. Mary's by 16. And St. Mary's had just beaten Gonzaga not long before that. So, St. Mary's is a very, very good team.
Very capable.
And North Carolina is very streaky. One of my good friends at work, he's a North Carolina fan. He talks about how they could pop off for 100 and they could score 40 the next game and shoot 10% in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think UCLA is just more consistent. And I think that they will win. I think they have better people with Jack
Jaquez.
Jaquez.
If the name's not Smith, James can't say it.
Exactly. He showed up against St. Mary's, and he's the reason I think they beat St. Mary's. Definitely in the first half, he just took over that game. And they're Tyler Campbell. Got it. Tiger Campbell. That's his name. So I said it wrong.
You brag as you said it wrong.
Yeah, but I just think I like him as a point guard. I like what his decision making, and I think UCLA wins this game and goes on to face whoever. And I'll get to it next.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Toby.
I picked UCLA to go to my Final Four when I filled out my bracket because I think they have the experience after what they were able to accomplish last season to be able to do that. And then when I look at a team like North Carolina, you watch them against Baylor. They had that game in the bag with about 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
And because they lose a guy like Brady Manick, they lose one guy, just one.
Baylor scored they were down 20, what?
25.
Yeah.
And they force overtime and they just completely fell apart. And I look at a team like Carolina and I just don't think they can match up for 40 minutes against a team like UCLA. You look at the lineup that UCLA throws out there, they're all big, they're all tall. And that's one of the strengths of Carolina is their ability to hit the offensive glass. And I think UCLA is going to be able to limit that with Baycott's ability to get the ball inside and continue to score. I just don't see a way that Carolina sticks with UCLA and the talent that UCLA has. That being said, I really cannot stand how UCLA plays offense. I think it is incredibly poorly done by Mick Cronin. They play really good defense and they play really slow, but on offense, it just seems like they run a weave at the top, find a matchup they like, and then go isolation. And it's every single time down the floor. And it just doesn't seem like they can ever get in a flow on offense, but they also have the players to be able to do that. And that's why they were able to go on a run last year. And I think that's why they go on a deeper run again this year is they have a guy like Juzang. And if he doesn't have it, they have Jaquez or Campbell. They have so many guys that can do it.
I think I am going to end up going with North Carolina. They've scored 90 plus points in these first two games. And I do know UCLA will play better defense and slow the game down a little bit. But if North Carolina were to start off hot, I think it might be hard for UCLA to keep up with their pace. I wouldn't be surprised again if UCLA were to win this game, but I'm going to go with North Carolina. This East region is absolutely nuts because the 1 and 2 are both gone. So it's up for grabs for anyone who wants it. So it's really exciting to watch. I'm going to be enjoying this. The next one, everyone's Cinderella team that nobody picked. I think there was 2% of brackets had St. Peter's in the Sweet 16. St. Peter's versus Purdue. Now I've been really hesitant to even have Purdue make the Elite Eight before this game happened because I thought Kentucky was really strong. I did have Purdue in the bracket, Toby, that you and I are competing in where we're both doing really well. I did have Purdue beating Kentucky. So I'm going to think Purdue will beat St. Peter's, but I just don't know even how to read St. Peter's. These guys are so good. They're talented and they've got a heart and drive. And it looks like they could continue this. I mean, they've already beaten Kentucky and Murray State, which are two really good teams. So they can beat Purdue. But I just doubt the possibility of that happening. So I'm going to go with Purdue.
Yeah, I don't see them beating Purdue.
And Purdue's so big too.
That's the thing right there. If they would have been facing Texas, I would have liked their chances because you watch St. Peter's offense and they do just a phenomenal job of running their sets. And there's maybe not one standout player in terms of the star power that you're going to see from other teams. I mean, the team, gotta love Doug Eddard, but the team that they're facing has a guy that's going to be a top 5 pick in Jaden Ivey. He's not matching up with that sort of talent. And so they just have to rely on their offensive sets and their ability to run their offense effectively. And they've done that so far against Kentucky. They do that against Murray State, but they may be able to do that, but I don't see them being able to stop Zach Edey, Travion Williams. Like those are the real issues right there. If those guys should
be able to both score 25 plus points.
Absolutely. If there was a way for them to stop Zach Edey, particularly, I think that maybe I would give them a chance. I just don't see them stopping Edey, and I think that's really the reason why their Cinderella run ends in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, which is still a great run. I mean, it's awesome.
Oh, absolutely.
I said there was 2 games that I think will not be close. I think this is going to be one of them.
Yeah.
I
think Peter's blowout.
Yes, you nailed it. I think Purdue is a pretty complete team. They're pretty streaky at times. They lose games they should win.
Well, I mean, they ended the season really poorly, but they were a top 5 team like a week before the regular season ended.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying Purdue is going to win.
And I know.
I think they win by I'll say 15. It might be a little steep, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a close game at the beginning and then Purdue just pulls away at the end. But I don't think it's going to be that close. I hope I'm wrong. I love when 15 seeds win, and I hate Purdue. So
why do you hate Purdue?
I don't know.
I don't like Purdue either.
I like Butler and I like Indiana, and they're all kind of in the same area, kind of rivals with each other. So,
all right, next game. Did you guys catch the TCU Arizona game Sunday night?
Sure did not.
Oh, James,
I wish I could have. I had to go to bed to try and get up for early show in the morning.
Yeah, I
would have watched it.
I made
I work at
myself
4 in the
stay up and
morning,
watch
so-
it. That was arguably maybe the best game of the tournament. I mean, it was just back and forth. TCU was just getting all these offensive rebounds, and they had the hustle play. Arizona's talent was clearly higher. And as TCU started to deal with some foul trouble, Arizona was able to get the win in the overtime. But it was electric the whole game, back and forth, back and forth. TCU's what's that big man's name? It starts with something like K. I don't remember, but he was just an animal.
Keep going.
He was an animal over Arizona's big men. I mean, he was 7'1", and he was just calling him little. It was awesome. If you go back and watch the highlights of that game, it was insane. Their guard was running around making all these crazy drives to the rim just to keep his team in it. But Arizona's best player stepped up and made shots when they had to. He made with 12 seconds to go, made a deep three to tie the game up at like 72 or something like that, I believe.
Was it Chuck O'Bannon?
O'Bannon is the Arizona guy.
No, O'Bannon's TCU. I'm looking correctly at it.
Okay, different TCU guy. I'll hear it when I know.
There's E. Miller, but he only had 10 points.
No.
Oh, E. Lampkin?
Lampkin, yes, thank you.
Oh, yeah, 14 rebounds.
Yeah, he was nuts. And like half of them were offensive.
It's a big boy.
Yeah, he was just going absolutely crazy. And he was just going over 7-foot guys. It was nuts. But then the guard for TCU got inbound the ball 12 seconds, got to the half court line, crossed it, and then he got trapped and lost the ball with like 5 seconds to go.
Fouled.
He probably should have been called that. No, I will say the refs were very consistent with that game on how they were calling fouls. They were letting some contact go, so it was okay. But Arizona strips the ball or fouls, however you want to say it, and he grabs the ball, sprinting down court, goes up for the game-winning dunk, and as the ball is like about to go through the rim, the buzzer goes off. I was like, dude, if you would have just laid it in, you would have won.
Stupid.
But they still won it overtime.
They won.
Yeah. All right, Arizona and Houston. Houston is one of my teams that I am scared of every time they play someone. They play such good basketball, great defense, but Arizona is my pick to win the whole thing. So I can't pick Houston here, but I am afraid of them, especially with how all of Arizona's last game looked a little sketchy.
I'll go first here, James, because I don't have a whole lot to add to this. Arizona, I took them to win the national championship. I haven't watched a whole lot of either of these teams. I can't give you great analysis. I'm just taking Arizona.
All right. Well, I like your straightforwardness there. I did get to watch the Houston-Illinois game, and just watching Houston play, they're probably one of my favorite teams to watch. Their defense and their hustle it's evident. It's why they win all their games that they win. And I think Houston upsets Arizona. It could be that I like Houston. I don't know. Maybe I haven't seen Arizona play. So honestly, I'm basing this off what I know about Houston. And I really, really love watching them play. I think they're fiery. They're very good. And if they get hot, I mean, it's bad. And like I said, their defense will keep them in every game. So I'm going to go Houston here for an upset of the 1 seed. Let's get all the 1 seeds out of here.
There's no way. No way. Arizona's got this game in the bag. They're better.
I hope
Actually,
so.
It doesn't matter because in all of the bracket challenges I'm doing, I have Arizona picked, and then the other top team, which is Toby, has Arizona as well.
Yeah,
so
who's in third in that place? Who's in third? And who has Gonzaga winning? That would be me. Oh,
if Gonzaga wins, then
who cares, James?
I don't
Toby,
care.
what percentile?
Horrible.
What percentile is your bracket in right now? Because mine's like 98.6. I think.
Yeah, I think mine's like 99.6 or something.
Yeah,
something crazy, something I've never achieved before. 98.7, yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I think you have one more game correct than me. And I think I've got like 12 Sweet 16 teams. You've got like 13 or something like that.
Yeah, pretty happy with my bracket so far.
Yeah, we're doing well. All right. Matchup of the century, rematch of the century. Villanova and Michigan seem to keep playing each other in these tournaments. It's really frustrating. I'm hoping we get redemption. I had Michigan beating Colorado State, beating Tennessee, and losing to Villanova in my bracket. But now that we've seen these two teams play, how can I not pick Michigan? Let's go, Blue. Michigan all the way. Michigan's playing really well. I hope Devontae Jones is able to come back. It seemed to make a big difference. But now that our bench guys and our freshmen, Caleb Houston was playing really well in the first game, and then he sucked the second game. I don't know if he had a point until the very end. So it looks like that even when some of our guys aren't stepping up, others are. So if we can beat Tennessee, I thought Tennessee was better than Villanova. So I think we can win this game. Will not be shocked if Villanova wins. They're a great team. They seem to always beat us. They have our number. But I really want revenge over Villanova from that championship. So I'm going Michigan. How can I not?
I'll go next to you.
Michigan. This is the other game that's not going to be close.
It is actually the game I think that's not going to be close. And I don't mean that because it's Michigan. I just think what Michigan did really well against Tennessee is they kept someone on Vescovi the whole entire game. And he's our shooter. He's basically our playmaker. I know Kennedy Chandler. Mm-hmm. I know Kennedy Chandler is obviously a superstar, but we play through Vescovi, and he's just our main guy. He runs the offense. He does everything, and y'all just shut him down. And I mean, outside of Chandler, no one was really helping because Ziegler was playing so bad. He missed every open shot he had. And y'all had a good game plan, but I don't think you can do that with Villanova. I feel like they're more balanced than Tennessee is, even though I think Tennessee may have overall more talent and better coaching. I don't know. I just love Rick Barnes too. That's probably not better coaching, but I think Villanova pulls it together. I think Villanova wins this game, even though for a special bracket thing I'm doing, I need Michigan to win because that gets me 10 points in my bracket challenge thing. But I think it's going to be I said not close, but I think it's going to be like an 8-point, 9-point game. So kind of close, but not super close.
Here's the thing with Michigan. I've missed very few Michigan games this year. When our defense shuts down 3-pointers, which is what we tend to, that's like one of our main goals. We're not a good 3-point shooting team, so shut down the 3 for the other team. When we do that, we win. And we had a stretch where we were doing that like against Purdue, Illinois, Indiana. We had a really good stretch, Ohio State, where teams are shooting like under 20% from 3. And when we do that, we win by a lot. But when a team has enough motion that they get open looks and hit open 3s, we lose. So that'll be the key to the game. I guarantee it. Watch it, see how we do about defending the 3. And if we're getting pressure on 3-point shots and they're missing shots, I think we win the game. If they're getting open looks and moving the ball enough so we can't get out on the perimeter, I expect Villanova to win.
Yeah, I'm going to take Villanova in this one, a really close one. I think it's tightly contested the whole way. I think it could go either way at the end, and I think just Villanova with some of that leadership from some of their old guys, they find a way to get it done against Michigan. Michigan, they were picked to be one of the best teams in the nation at the beginning of the year.
Number 6.
For a reason, because they do have a lot of talent and they can do it, but there's also a reason why they were a bubble team to get into the tournament. I think
they were wildly inconsistent.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the game, you'll just see the experience from Villanova and just the better players get it done.
I mean, one thing to look at, Eli Brooks, it is his 6th year. He's great.
I know, I'm so done with seeing him.
Yeah, he
leave.
He is one of the most experienced players in the tournament remaining.
Him, Bohannon, stupid Brad Davison. I'm done with all those guys.
Davison so much. Devontae Jones is also pretty experienced. But our freshmen are who will have to step up because we know Hunter Dickinson is going to play well, 7'1" sophomore. So Brooks will play well, Dickinson will play well. Devontae Jones, if they let him back in with his concussion stuff, will play well. But it'll just depend on, can Diabate step up like he did last week against Tennessee? Can Caleb Houston knock down a few 3s? Those are the questions we'll have to answer. So we'll see what happens. All right, Kansas and Providence, 1-4, one of the only 1-4 matchups that we have. You should see a lot more of those, you would think, in the Sweet 16, but this is actually the only one.
There's 2 of 4. No, the Arkansas, Gonzaga.
Oh, yep, 2. Okay, well, that's not bad. I was 50%. Thinking,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's not bad. All right, Kansas, Providence. Providence played really well against Richmond. Kansas beat Creighton by 7.
But it was Richmond.
Yeah, it was the old Spiders. I've got Kansas here. Not a whole lot of analysis to add.
Yeah, Kansas.
I think this is the closest game of the weekend.
Really?
Yeah, I think Providence is incredibly hot right now. And I think this is – I watched them, and I feel like outside of maybe 3 or 4 teams, I think they're the hottest team in basketball right now. Of course, Michigan is too, but I don't know. Like Villanova's hot too, but I think Kansas is the weakest one. I thought they were at the beginning when they made this. I think they were technically the 4th one. I may be wrong. Is that right?
I thought Baylor was the weakest, but
obviously they're the weakest now. But I think Providence is going to be there. I think Providence could win. It's a toss-up for me. I think since y'all went Kansas, I'm gonna go Providence.
That's fair
because it's Providence.
Yeah.
Oh, the other one's weird. You got a 10 and 11 matchup. You got Miami and Iowa State. Iowa State beating Wisconsin. I picked that one. Thank you.
That was the ugliest game I've ever watched.
Yep. And then
that
Miami,
Chattanooga, Illinois were just terrible.
Miami put up almost 80 on Auburn. So Wisconsin played really poorly. I don't think Iowa State beat them because they were great. Wisconsin, when Johnny doesn't play great, Wisconsin doesn't play great.
No, here's their problem. I have these stats because I follow Wisconsin way too closely, and I hate it. Chucky Hepburn, their point guard. You look at the box score, 0.0 assists. But when Chucky Hepburn was on the floor for the first 15 minutes of the game, Wisconsin shot 8 of 17 from the field, 47.1%. When Chucky Hepburn left the game, the Wisconsin Badgers were 6 of 30 the rest of the way, 20% from the field. That was the issue right there.
So he draws attention? You think that's what it is?
No, it's just they need a point guard that can get everyone set up and just run the offense. And Wisconsin doesn't have the talent to run an isolation game because Johnny Davis struggled all tournament. And he'd struggled for a while ever since he tweaked his ankle, which has been probably 5 or 6 games now where he has not looked like the Johnny Davis that won the Big Ten Player of the Year. And so they couldn't get it going. You're right. Iowa State, credit to their defense, but you scored 52 points.
54, yeah.
54 points. That's not enough to win a basketball game. And if they do that same sort of performance offensively against Miami, they'll lose by 15 to 20 points.
Yeah, I'm picking Miami. I think they just beat one of the better teams in the tournament in Auburn by 18. I think Miami's a real deal. So I go Miami here.
Yeah, I'll take Miami.
I'm going to take Miami as well. And if you watch them against Auburn probably has the number 3 pick in the whole draft in Jabari Smith. He didn't have a super great game. They have a good point guard. They shut him down. This Miami is actually a pretty complete team. I don't know how in the world they ended up at a 10 seed while they played so bad during the season. But I think Iowa State has squeaked by in every game, squeaked into the tournament and squeaked by in the first 2 games. LSU didn't have a coach. Their coach got fired the week before the tournament. Wisconsin, we just talked about. And I think Miami's just going to run through Iowa State, which I need Iowa State to win for my bracket. But I think Miami will.
No one cares about your bracket, James.
It's not the same bracket. It's totally different. It's really cool. Okay.
All right. That's our Sweet 16 preview. I mean, I guess we can't know what's going to happen. So there's no real reason to go into the Elite 8 too much. Plus, we got plenty of other things to talk about. Let's go ahead and transition into the NFL free agency. Oh my gosh. And trading's absolutely nuts. So let's make sure we cover it all. We'll start with quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers signs the Packers. That's been covered. Everyone who's listening to this has already heard enough about that, right? But then Devontae Adams traded to the Raiders, which just blows my freaking mind. I know there's been a lot of
for nothing.
Yeah, not for too much. And then he signs a crap ton of money, which you would have thought that Adams staying would be a huge part of why Rodgers would stay with the Packers. But apparently that's not the case, at least from what we've been seeing from different reports. It seems like Rodgers knew Adams wouldn't be staying. So I don't know why he would sign with the Packers. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Toby, I'm sure you've talked about this plenty.
Way too much. Yeah, I'm surprised by it. Part of me wonders if Rodgers didn't hear about this and used this as some motivation of, this dude really chose to go play with Derek Carr over me. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little bit of that in there. But Aaron Rodgers now has some control within the organization. He knew that Devontae wasn't coming back, so I'm assuming there's some sort of plan in there. I don't know that the Packers had a plan in place ready to go, because if they did, I think you would have seen them go after Allen Robinson a little heavier. I think you would have seen them go after some of these guys like a Juju. I mean, there are no free agents. There really aren't any draft picks that I love to come in and impact the Packers right away, because Aaron Rodgers notoriously does not get along with rookie receivers.
Yeah. So
I think their best option would be trading for a guy, but you just saw today that Tyreek Hill gets traded for a haul. So I wonder how much, the easy destination to look at somewhere to send some picks to maybe get a receiver is Seattle. But how much are you going to have to give up for a guy like DK and a guy that maybe they can re-sign? And even if they do bring him in, how much are they going to have to sign him for after giving up, I'd assume, quite a bit of draft picks?
Yeah, and then they're going to have to sign him for just slightly less than Devontae Adams.
Yeah,
probably.
And then you're basically in the same situation, so I don't quite understand that. Maybe they could go after Lockett. The guy now that we're talking about it, the guy that I've talked about on the radio making some sense for the Packers, and now it makes even more sense because I'd assume he's even cheaper, is Devontae Parker.
Yeah.
He's cheap and on the cap for the next 2 seasons. You probably only have to give up a mid-round pick for him, considering they just traded for Tyreek Hill. And
Jarvis Landry is still out there. He could be he's not a one, but
the problem is they already have slot receivers.
Yeah, but Landry's better than Cobb.
He is better than Cobb, but when you're going to have 3 guys on the same receiving core, they're all slot receivers that generally don't play. That's not going to work.
Yeah, I suppose.
I mean, there's 2 people out there I think they can look at. Obviously, Odell Beckham Jr. is still a free agent.
But he's hurt.
I know he's going to miss part of the season.
He'll miss much of the season.
Yeah.
And then you have Julio Jones.
Or is it at the end of the season?
Yeah, he tore it in the Super Bowl. So I would think at 9 months from the Super Bowl, which was middle of February, is middle of November.
Yeah, which is like 9 months minimum.
So I don't know.
I said 2 names that were out there. And then Julio Jones is out there.
Rob Taylor sent me about 107 trade offers for Odell Beckham. And I was like, dude, I don't want him. He's $40 in our salary league, and he's going to be injured through November. Stop trying to get Devontae Smith from me. It's not
okay, I want to ask you this, James, because you are well aware of what Julio can and cannot be. Is he worth spending money on as a receiver at this point in his career?
Yes, but I do not think he should be a 1. Obviously, so
he's a supplemental piece.
I think he would be fit perfectly with the Colts. Have Michael Pittman your 1, have him your 2, and then maybe get like a Cole Beasley for your slot receiver.
Yeah, that'd be a nice.
I think that would be perfect.
Because
the Colts are close.
On like a 2-year deal.
Team. Yeah, or even a 1-year deal. That's what everybody's been giving him, is a 1-year deal. I mean, if he gets, what's it going to hurt you?
Yeah, and you can have a 2nd-year option if he's doing it.
Yeah, Julio makes a lot of sense for, I think, a lot of teams. If you can bring him in for cheap, it's just, do you want to spend money on a guy that you're not sure is going to play the whole season? And do you want to maybe hurt the development of some of your younger guys if you're going to play Julio? But if you're a team trying to win right now, I don't see why you wouldn't at least give him a shot, because we've seen what Julio can be when he's on the field, one of the best receivers in the league. Just, it's kind of telling that the Titans traded what they did to get him and then just said, yeah, we're done.
And blew my mind.
So then yesterday it was made official. Allen Robinson signs with the Rams. I guess the Rams is trying to extend their window a little longer. They said, we still don't have any draft picks, so there's no time in starting to rebuild now. Let's just try to win another one.
I love that signing.
Yeah. I think it makes
sense. They just signed extended Stafford too, so it looks like they're going to go for a couple more years.
So now they'll have Kupp and Robinson, and if Woods doesn't come back right away, that's still a pretty decent core.
Well, Woods is gone.
Woods is
that's right. He got traded to Tennessee. Yeah.
So they're going to depend on those guys. You still have Van Jefferson with that receiving core. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. You basically can replace Odell Beckham and Robert Woods with Allen Robinson.
Yep.
And I think Robinson's better than both of those guys.
Yeah, I would probably agree. What else? Cordell Patterson re-signs with the Falcons.
Who cares?
Yeah, move on.
I don't care.
Jameson
Crowder went to Buffalo.
Gross. Yep. Well, I think that's interesting in the sense that you lose Cole Beasley, you bring in Jamison Crowder. They're similar players.
Sure.
Is Jamison Crowder going to give you the same production as Cole Beasley? Having watched both of those guys extensively, I think Cole Beasley is one of the most underrated receivers in the NFL.
Agreed.
And after watching the recognition that he finally got and the numbers he put up with Buffalo, I like Crowder. I don't know at this point in his career that he can replicate what Cole Beasley was giving Buffalo.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that. Also, Jameis Winston re-signed with the Saints, so it looks like they'll probably keep him as their starting QB.
The real interesting one with the Saints is, what are they going to do with Michael Thomas?
I mean, what can they do? No one's going to trade for him.
No, but do you just keep rolling out there with him when you're going to he's got $29 million cap hit the next 2 seasons?
I think so. I think he plays this year, and I think that he'll just play with Winston.
Yeah, that's a difficult situation. If you're the real problem is not Michael Thomas. The real problem is that Sean Payton had a love affair with Taysom Hill and required that you pay him $20 million for him to be your backup quarterback.
What a waste of money. That was one of the most idiotic decisions by a head coach I've ever seen. The Taysom Hill thing, the Taysom Hill experiment. I will never understand that. What else? Leonard Fournette talked to the Patriots and he signed with the Bucks.
Cool. I fully expected that.
Yeah, when Brady announced his retirement or announced his unretirement, Hey, I'm glad Bucks play in Tampa or in Green Bay this year. I'm gonna go see the game, and I'll find it'll be the only time I've ever seen Tom Brady play live. So
It probably hurt not playing.
I was so sad when he retired. I was like, I was full of regrets. I was like, I literally am gonna die without ever seeing Tom Brady.
I can't wait till you have to watch Kyle Trask.
Oh no.
I think the two that are close to me, obviously, Matt Ryan going to the Colts,
Yeah.
and then Marcus Mariota coming to the Falcons.
Sure. Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I mean, whoever we're going to bring is probably going to be what they think is going to be like a 2-year bridge between, who we get
Whoever
next.
they draft.
Do
you guys have the two this year?
What?
Do you guys have the 2 this year for draft picks?
What do you mean the 2?
Like the second pick?
No, we have the 8th.
The 8? Do you get Malik Willis?
Yeah. I don't think so. I think we literally do not have a receiver. Zacchaeus is our number 1 right now.
Yeah.
And I hate that because we need defense, but we have literally no receivers.
But receivers you can miss on. I would rather sign a free agent wide receiver once you get a good quarterback.
You don't have one, and they're all gone.
They literally don't have one.
Yeah, that's true. No
Julio,
no Ridley.
And it also shows you how good Russell Gage was, that Tom Brady went out of his way to recruit Russell Gage.
Yeah. Wow. Is he literally the only receiver on the roster?
He's our number 1 right now. Unless Patterson, but Patterson's more running back.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude.
The crazy thing is right now is all these people that are high level players have basically either stayed in their division or they've all gone to the AFC.
Yeah, the AFC is getting nuts right now.
Russell
the path
Wilson,
to the Super
Khalil
Bowl,
Mack, Devontae, all those guys leaving the NFC go to the AFC.
The path to the Super Bowl is going to be so ridiculous to go to the Super Bowl in the AFC. And meanwhile, the NFC is like Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. Dak Prescott, I suppose.
No, not really.
But that's it. Like literally.
Carson Wentz.
Believe in Carson Wentz.
Yeah, how do you feel about that, Toby?
I don't
helps
love
Terry
it.
McLaurin and Logan Thomas, I think, but
I don't love it. I don't hate it. I think you could see the offense improve just because a lot of Washington's offense depends on stuff around the line of scrimmage with pre-snap motion and little gimmicky type plays. And they haven't been able to run those very effectively with the quarterbacks they've had because the only guy they've had so far with an arm to get the ball down the field was Wayne Haskins, and he sucked. So
do you think Washington's defense bounces back after its lackluster performance last
year? Probably
I think
not.
If Carson Wentz takes care of the ball, it will help them a lot.
It would, but Jack Del Rio
secondary was so awful.
Jack Del Rio is so bad at running a defense. He refuses to blitz. I just don't like it. And a strength of Washington's was its defensive line. And now essentially they still have 4 good guys up front, but that's it. Like they used to have depth. They don't have any depth anymore. So it could be a problem.
All right. One more we should definitely talk about. Deshaun Watson to the Browns.
Yikes.
Jeez. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see it coming.
Well, it's also because they said they weren't going to do it.
Yeah, he did.
The Browns didn't see it coming either.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy as a Browns. They're my number 2 team. But I don't know. I don't know what it's going to do to the league. Does Baker go to Carolina? Something like that?
That's what I keep hearing.
Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it?
There or Seattle is what I hear the 2 places.
But then,
Seattle apparently loves Drew Lock.
So we'll see how much Watson gets suspended if he does. I expect somewhere around 4 games probably. But he come back would have 13 games to play. You can make a playoff run. You got Amari Cooper, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, great defense. That could be a scary team. I think that might be one of the most impactful signings, maybe outside of Russell Wilson to Denver.
I mean, they gave up their entire future for him, so I hope so.
Yeah.
I just think it doesn't look very good. I think as a football move, I think it makes a lot of sense. I think, but the thing with Deshaun is it's so much more than just a football move. And for you to come out and put out a statement like their GM said, to say we've done extensive research on Deshaun Watson and the situation, and then for the attorney of the women to come out and say he hasn't even contacted us, I just think that's a really bad look for the organization. But all that being said, I think you watch Deshaun Watson, and if he's not suspended or next year, whatever the case is, when he gets on the field and the Cleveland Browns are 8-2 or 7-3 through 10 weeks of the season, no one's going to care. And they're just going to forget about it, which I think is a shame for these women that had to go through this. But that's just the reality of how sports works at times.
I just wish we could get some like actual evidence or on these things, right? Because it's such a two-edged sword. You want to protect the women that could have gone through something like this without defaming someone who may not have done this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If we were able just to say, I mean, I know you don't want to have a trial by public opinion, right? So I just wish that we could get, hey, here's some evidence or some text messages or something of him soliciting this stuff. Because otherwise it's just he said, she said. So I don't really want to form too much of an opinion based off of what people say. So I try to avoid that as much as I can, because the sad thing is people do take advantage of women. So that's a very possible thing, and it's awful. Other sad thing is people will try to make money off of someone else if something may not have happened. So it could have gone either way. So I don't know. Hopefully it just all gets straightened out and justice is done either way. But as far as football goes, I think it's a great move for the Browns, like you said. I guess we'll just have to see what happens. What else? Russell Wilson, man, the AFC West. Oh my gosh.
That's what I would ask you with AFC West now. How would you power rank these teams in the AFC West? Because all of them have made big moves this offseason, whether it's a team that has a quarterback to now try and improve the passer, or bringing in weapons for their quarterback,
or the Chargers bringing defensive players.
Yeah. So like right now for me, if I looked at it, I still think, well, you know what, after today's news, maybe it's not the Chiefs division. So maybe I'd have to bump them down a little bit. I honestly do think Russell Wilson makes the Broncos really good. After hearing Tyreek Hill for the time being, I'll say Broncos at the top, Chiefs 2. I'd take the Raiders at 3. I like the Chargers. I like Justin Herbert, but I think we all forget that like they really still haven't done anything with Herbert yet. They haven't made the playoffs yet. So until they do it, I can't just crown them as the next big thing.
Yeah,
so that's how I don't think
making them the 3 in their division is the next big thing, though. Well, I would probably personally go, because of the issues of defense and running back for the Chiefs, and now losing Tyreek Hill. I'm going to agree with the Broncos at 1, which is kind of crazy for me to say. Russell Wilson, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, Noah Fant. You got 2, Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon. Good defense. Like, that's a great team. We'll just see if Wilson can play consistently. Then I would have the Chiefs 2 as well, I do believe, without having Tyreek Hill. If they go out and figure out something to do with their wide receiver position, I know they have Juju and Mecole Hardman, but we'll see if that shores up a little bit. I then would have the Chargers 3 after getting JC Jackson and just the defensive pieces they've added. Khalil Mack as well. Wait, Khalil Mack, right? Yeah, he went to the Chargers. Yeah.
Yep.
I think that they're just probably the most well-rounded team. You still have Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, just adding Gerald Everett as well to Jared Cook as tight end. So you got 2 good pass catchers there. And then also having Austin Eckler as a running back. I mean, their offense and defense both should be solid. So I've got the Chargers there. And then the Raiders are very close 4th. Derek Carr, I think, is a above average quarterback, if not maybe just average, but Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs should be pretty good weapons with Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller as well. But their defense is also good. I don't know. I think Chargers
it's such a good division.
Chargers and Raiders are like 3A and 3B. You know what I mean? That's how I would rank it.
I'm going to go a little different because I think the Chargers' issues obviously were not their offense; it was their defense. And I think having Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, Asante Samuel, Darwin James, J.C. Jackson, I think that's a top 5 defense. And I think if they become a top half defense, I think the Chargers can win this division, and that's why I will pick the Chargers. I may be a little high on them, but they don't have any issues on offense. There's not a weakness on offense.
No.
And they added Gerald Everett, who is a very big tight end, a very athletic tight end. And then adding those defensive pieces, they're gonna have so many sacks this year with Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, and then they got Kenneth Murray. I'm not even gonna try to say this guy's last name. Amen. Anyone want to take a chance at it?
Nope.
I don't even know who you're talking about. Spell it for me.
Ogbongbemiga.
Ogunjobi.
There you go. That's the one. I like them. I think they have a very good chance to win this division. Now, I think the Chiefs actually dropped a 3 for me, and I would have the Broncos second. It's hard to put them with Mahomes and Kelsey still, and they have Juju, but Juju's not Tyreek Hill. Hardman has the speed like Tyreek Hill, but
Hardman sucks.
Hardman's an idiot. And so I just can't put them ahead of the Broncos, and I can't put them ahead of the Chargers. There's so many questions there, question marks. I don't have a very great defense. They have decent defense. They don't have a great offensive line. At least at times. And I got to put the Raiders 4 just because the other three are better. They're not bad.
They all have better. They all have better quarterbacks. Anything else that I'm missing? I mean, Robert Woods to the Titans. We got Godwin re-signed with the Bucks. Don't see too much that I'm missing. I can't think of anything. Hill to the Dolphins. We haven't really talked about it in depth. Does that make them? They beat the Patriots twice last year. See what Tua can do. Jalen Waddle looks like a serious NFL receiver.
I like what they can do now with a quarterback that I don't think is very good in Tua, and that he doesn't have to be very good because he can just get the ball into Waddle and Hill's hands very close to the line of scrimmage, kind of what he was able to do. Yeah, I mean, kind of what he was able to do at Alabama of just get the ball into your playmaker's hands and don't screw it up. And
he's an accurate passer. He's just not a great downfield passer.
Yeah, and I think you'll see a lot of jet sweeps and motions and quick screens.
Maybe a little bit of what we saw in San Francisco this past year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you get Mike McDaniel over there. That offense could be fun to watch.
Yeah,
I'm sorry I didn't hear. Sorry.
Yeah, we're talking about Tua and Hill. I think that the Dolphins definitely at least make the playoffs this year with the wild card. I doubt they pass the Bills. I think the Bills.
Who is their coach?
Mike McDonald.
And where was he?
McDaniel. Offensive coordinator with the Niners.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
so
right.
I think
Mitch Allen looked like.
Yeah, I think
that is correct.
This is going to help them out. I mean, honestly, the Hill signing does make a lot of sense because with all the speed that they'll have on that team, they're going to be a really, really solid.
Can I say something real quick?
Threat. Yeah.
No.
If Tyreek Hill is in Miami, Tyreek Hill is going to be the number one receiver
in the league.
Correct.
No, and on Miami, because someone, I'm not going to call them out in our group, said Jalen Waddle still is the number one there.
That's ridiculous.
No.
I wanted to say he was high as a kite, but I didn't because I'm a nice person. So I did it publicly on the thing.
Yeah, I saw it as well.
Who in our group would say that?
Rob. Can't tell. Okay. I'd say.
Rob says a lot of dumb stuff. We love him. He's got a nice juicy booty, but he says a lot of dumb stuff.
That's probably the dumbest thing I've ever heard what you just said, but continue on.
Yeah.
Did you know we
for
never
sure.
mind. We had a good nickname for him in college.
Continue on, please.
Moving on. I don't see anything else.
I would pretty much the main things.
Yeah, I think so. Evan Ingram signed with the Jags.
Jags signed 18 receivers.
Yeah, Jags signed everyone way too much.
Christian
That's
Kirk
good for them.
Was made
Kirk,
the highest
way
paid,
too much.
second highest paid receiver in the league. Now
Zay
he's third.
Jones, way too much.
Christian Kirk was made the second highest paid receiver in the league. I know he had a good year last year, 80 catches, 890 something yards, few touchdowns. And that was with an inconsistent Cardinals offense last year and being behind DeAndre Hopkins and having AJ Green there as well. So I understand he's solid, but second highest paid receiver in the league. It just seems ridiculous to me. I don't know. I don't like it.
I didn't even hear that.
You didn't know that, huh?
Mm-mm.
Yep. I mean, I don't know. And to me, I know that there was a lot going on in Jacksonville last year, but let's just say it the way it is. Trevor Lawrence did not look good last year. I know there was a lot going on. But he didn't look good. I mean, his percentages weren't good.
He'll be
He didn't
fine.
really have any good games. We'll see.
Yeah,
He was put in a rough
confident.
spot.
I'm confident he'll be okay.
I think it was more 100% the coach on him. But
I agree.
Urban Meyer sucked.
Yep. All right. Got to get that all off our chests.
All right, let's move into baseball. Baseball is going to happen, which makes me happy. A lot has happened. I'm sorry, James. I know Freddie Freeman went to the Dodgers. It's disappointing. I know your pain. It sucks.
No, it's okay.
Dodgers
You're
are
defending
ridiculous.
World Series champ. Suck it up.
I hate the Dodgers
I
now.
still think we have a good chance to go back. Not win it, obviously, but go back.
You're not going back.
No, you're not.
Well, who do we lost Freddie and we added Matt Olson.
It doesn't
Oh,
matter.
we lost Freddie.
You know who gained Freddie? The
I
freaking
just-
Dodgers.
What did I just say?
Are the Dodgers
I meant
is still in the NLC or the?
I meant the NL championship. I didn't mean
okay.
Sorry. Go back and then be good again.
Yes. No, I mean,
No, you won't.
Mayhaps.
Coming from a Nationals fan.
They could, but I just think the Dodgers are just ridiculous.
It could be worse. You could be called the Guardians.
Oh, pain. That was a low blow.
Or the Commanders.
What is up with these new names? Maybe it's just because they're new, but I feel like they don't fit the leagues that they're putting them into.
I cannot wait until your team has to change the name, James, and you become like the Janitors or something stupid.
The Janitors?
I don't know how to take that.
All right. They'll be like the Ramblers or something. All right. Trevor Story also signs with the Boston Red Sox. I mean, maybe the best shortstop in the game, one of them at least. And now he's in Boston. 6-year contract, and he can opt in 2028. So that's big news. Carlos Correa signing with the Twins. Just stop me when you see something you want to talk about.
Well, real quick with Story, he playing second base, I'd assume.
He very well could.
I would think he's going to play second base or DH when you think of Xander Bogaerts as a better shortstop than Story.
He probably would just play. He could probably play third too, honestly.
Well, Devers is at third.
Yeah, but Devers is bad at defense.
Devers is not very good defensively. So
I would say put Story at third and have Devers DH.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have that flexibility, but just interesting to see what they do with that. Xander Bogaerts has that shortstop position locked up, though.
Yeah, probably.
Also, the Correa thing that you mentioned, Correa signing with the Twins. Correa has opt-outs after both of his seasons, first 2 years. So essentially it's a 1-year deal if he decides he doesn't want to stick around.
Doesn't want to stay, which is good for him because I think that the White Sox are probably going to be a top team for the next few years. They could win that division.
Yeah. How surprised were you when you saw that he signed with the Twins of all
I was
teams?
shocked. It's not a big market team. It can't be the team that offered him the most money, or I mean, I guess it could be, but maybe he just sees an opportunity there to
maybe he was mad at Houston.
Yeah. It could just be that, he knows that division's weak and you're going to make the playoffs if you're in the AL Central this year. Because the Tigers, Guardians, and Royals ain't going to be a threat.
No.
And with the playoffs expanding, you're probably going to get in. Anything else I'm missing? I don't think so. I mean, there were some other things I know.
The one that kind of shocked me the most probably is Chris Bryant going to the Rockies.
Oh, yeah.
I don't understand because they just traded away Story.
Right.
So why pay that much money for
someone who's not going to make you contender? Some moves baseball players make, like they just know that they have to keep their fans happy, and stay in the news. But I feel like
100,000 home runs.
I feel like he could have gone to a better team and had a chance at a World Series. Because how long is he there? 4 years? Is that what it was?
I thought it was 3 years, but it might be 4.
3 years. It could have been 3 years. But how much time do you think that it's going to take them to rebuild to be a contender? I guess this baseball is just that way nowadays. It's not like basketball and football where you see players sign with the best teams because they're trying to win a World Series championship. Baseball,
they're not trying to win a World Series. You are correct.
Players just try to get the most money, it looks like, in baseball, which to me is frustrating.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm excited about baseball this year. It should be a fun season. I'm glad we're still getting 162 games. With the season being pushed back as far as it was, I was worried that might not be the case. So I'm glad we'll see that still.
Here's the move, and I know it's my team, so I just wanted to bring it up, but here's the move that makes no sense to me. Nelson Cruz to the Nationals makes 0 sense to me. I understand you needed a DH and you needed someone to give some help to Juan Soto, but I don't understand why you're paying money when your roster sucks.
Yeah.
The only reason I could see them bringing him in is literally so they can trade him at the trade deadline.
That's possible.
That's the only reason I see him come into DC.
Teams 100% do that because you're going to get more at the trade deadline than you would get before the season starts, even though it's for half a season.
That's literally the only reason I can think of them deciding, yeah, we'll bring in Nelson Cruz.
No, that's very much possible. It could 100% be a big reason why they did that. James, are you excited about Matt Olson?
Yes. Obviously, he's a good replacement for Freddie, I feel like, and we got him for 8 years. So, I mean, he's not him, Ozzie, and Acuna are not going anywhere. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Although I would rather have Freddie Freeman. He's my favorite player. Was my favorite player.
It's okay. Both of our favorite players now play for the Dodgers. So
my favorite player plays for the Mets. So I guess he's not my favorite player anymore. And then the Cubs also signed Sia Suzuki to a 5-year contract to be their new catcher to replace Wilson Ramos. So I don't know. Any other news? I can't think of anything. Should be it for baseball, right?
Castellanos to the Phillies.
Yeah,
if that matters.
It does. He's a solid player.
Yeah, I like Castellanos.
Is the shift rule going into effect this year or next year? Okay, it's next year.
No, but the Ghost Runner is back for this season.
In extra innings.
Yeah, unfortunately,
I was not a fan of that rule.
But 9-inning doubleheaders. So
that's good. The 7 innings are stupid.
Little give and take.
Because the people that pitch no hitters in a 7-inning game doesn't count as a no hitter. I think it's a little bogus.
Yeah, you should not have games that don't count.
Correct.
In the record books. It's stupid. All right. Well, let's go ahead and move into trivia. So I got something a little special for you guys today. With all the free agent talk and everything we did today's show, it's been a little bit of a frenzy. I figured let's talk about some of the players that were a little bit more loyal to their team. So I've got in both baseball and football some of the most tenured players in each program. Now, this is not currently tenured players. It's all time. Okay. So I'm just going to randomly pick a team and see if you guys can figure out what player was the longest tenured player on that team. Okay.
Oh boy.
So the baseball ones, if I'm looking at this correctly. Oh, I'm sorry.
Pick like the Sacramento Kings.
No, I'll make it. I'll make it. Got things you guys can pick. The football ones are players who have played their entire season, their entire career with one team. Okay. So first off, this is a tough one. I'll make the first one a little bit tough. Who is the longest tenured player ever on a single team? And if you can, I'll give you 2 points. If you can pick the team, you get 1 point. If you get the player, you can get a second point. This one's gonna be really hard. But
if you say it's really hard, then it's probably not who I'm thinking.
Yeah, but you might be able to get a point for the team.
Longest tenured NFL player
of all time. There's 2. I'll give you a hint. They both are in the northern half of the country.
I mean, I can tell you who I'm gonna go with my guess that I know. I mean, okay. I don't know if it's the answer, but I'm gonna go Ben Roethlisberger.
Okay.
Yeah, Ben, and then at this point, Aaron Rodgers.
All right. You were both incorrect. The longest tenured player ever played 21 seasons. There were 2 of them. From 1946 to 1967, Lou Groza was a kicker.
Yeah, kicker.
Who played for the Browns for 21 years.
Okay.
Jason Hansen was also a kicker who played with the Lions for 21 years from 1992 to 2012.
That must be a miserable life.
Yeah. All right. Roethlisberger and Rodgers are on this list, but not where you thought. Okay. Which quarterback is the longest tenured player ever on a team? Who played his entire career? One team.
Ben Roethlisberger. Jeez. See, the thing is, I keep thinking all these guys, but then they left for a year. Like Tom Brady, nope. Phillip Rivers, nope.
I'll give you guys each an extra point if you can name the top 3. Or I'll give you top 4. Top 4.
Well, gosh. I'll stick with Aaron Rodgers for now.
Okay. James, you do get a point for having Ben Roethlisberger. He has 18 seasons with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Who is number 2?
So he was number 1?
Yep, you can get it. And I'll give you guys each a point for guessing number 2, 3, and 4 if you can get them.
So you're telling me Aaron Rodgers is not one of them?
Aaron Rodgers is not number 1.
Oh, so we're trying to guess number 2.
Yeah, you're trying to guess number 2.
Oh, okay.
2 and 3 are tied. I'm not gonna tell you how many. Oh, I'm sorry. 2, 3, and 4 are all tied. My apologies.
Jeez.
2 of them you can get for sure. The 4th one, I'm not sure.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers is one of them. So these 3 were all tied at 17 seasons.
Hold on. Eli Manning.
Eli Manning only played for, where'd he go? He was right here a second ago.
I guess that's that.
And technically, could he be considered tenured because he wasn't drafted by the Giants?
Well, that's true, but he is on this list because he played his whole career. I just saw him a second ago. Manning is
probably only played like 14 years.
16. So he's 1 year
16.
behind these guys.
Dang, man.
I would take another guess.
Okay.
Terry Bradshaw?
No,
I don't know if he only played for.
Is not on this list.
Dan Marino. I don't
Dan
think he played that
Marino.
long.
Dan
He
Marino is
did,
one.
okay.
Yep, 17. And then the fourth one. So James has 2. Toby has 1. Can you guys guess the fourth? I'll get it to whoever can say it. I was not aware of this player, so.
Well, then if you're not aware, we're probably
John
not aware.
Brody from 1957 to 1973.
Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, back in your day of watching 1960s football.
Yeah.
All right, so is it 2-1 right now?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
2-1, James. What was the other question I wanted to ask about football? Where did it go? Okay. Who is the longest tenured receiver of all time?
Oh, man.
James?
Larry Fitzgerald?
Ding, ding. Larry Fitzgerald.
Well done.
17 years he played for the...
I wasn't 100% sure if he started in Arizona, but I thought he did.
Yep. Well done.
Where did that one go? Troy Brown is second at 15 years.
Ooh, Troy Brown with the Raiders. Oh,
Patriots.
no. Tim Brown is who I'm thinking of.
Yes, you are. Okay. Moving on to baseball. So it's 3-1, James. I'm going to ask you each. You're going to get a chance to get a point for your own team. James, who is the longest tenured player ever on the Braves?
Chipper Jones.
Freddie Freeman.
Chipper Jones is correct.
Toby's got a slight advantage here because they've only been a team for 20 years, if that.
Toby, longest tenured team in Washington history.
Ryan Zimmerman.
I got to scroll down and find it.
It's got to be Ryan Zimmerman. He's been
Incorrect.
He was the first draft pick by the Nationals, and he came up in his first year.
It's counting the Montreal Expos as well. If that helps you, I'll give you another shot.
No, I'm just.
Those are the same thing.
I didn't follow the Expos. Give me.
It is Captain America, Steve Rogers. He played as a right-hander. He was drafted in 1971. He played 13 seasons with the Expos, making 393
Captain America.
starts.
He's Captain Canada.
Yeah, I suppose you could say that. But Steve Rogers is the name of Captain America. All right. Next, who is the longest tenured player? We'll do this one for Wesley of the Texas Rangers.
Ooh.
Texas Rangers or Houston Astros?
This is Texas Rangers / Washington Senators. So that franchise. You guys should know this player.
Walter Johnson,
my grandpa is a big Rangers fan, and we were just talking about how players don't stay with teams anymore. It's what made me spark this conversation. I said, except for this one guy that I remember watching as a kid. So he did play during our lifetime. He played for the Rangers, not the Senators.
Okay, well, then never mind.
I won't take your Walter Johnson pick. I'll let you get one.
That reason I'm out.
You guys should know this guy.
Oh, Nelson Cruz. I mean, not Nelson Cruz. The third baseman, Beltre.
Adrian Beltre. Okay.
Yeah.
Toby.
He played somewhere else before Texas, didn't he?
He did.
Oh, well, then I am wrong.
Gosh. Elvis Andrews? No, he played somewhere else.
He got traded recently.
Ian Kinsler?
Nope, that's second or up there, but Ian Kinsler was also traded. Michael Young.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Michael Young played his whole career.
Michael Young.
Would not have got that if you gave me 4 guesses.
Really? That was one I knew before it started. All right. One of the most famous players of all time. This is me if whoever says it first.
Derek Jeter.
St. Louis Cardinals.
For the draft. Yadi Molina.
No.
Matt Carpenter.
Dang,
I'm going to keep guessing.
Adam Wainwright.
Stan the Man Musial.
Stan Musial. Dang it, I should have known that.
Come on, you guys.
I mean, Yadi's been there forever, so it's kind of hard not to say.
What's the score right now?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I know James is winning. I think by 2. I think it's 4-2.
Sure.
Okay, let's see if you guys know this one. The New York Yankees.
Well, since I said that, I guess that's not the correct answer, so I'm not going Derek Jeter.
It was the longest tenured on the Cardinals, James.
I know, but I don't think you would have asked it. Never mind.
Let's
don't know how your
go
brain works.
with who was with them for forever. Let's go Mickey Mantle. Who knows?
James.
Mariano Rivera.
It is Mickey Mantle, his entire 18-year career. Rivera was not drafted with the Yankees.
You didn't know that, James? Jeez, amateur.
Obviously.
So
I'm
4-3. I'll give you 2 more questions. Of course, we got to do the Cleveland Indians next.
Excuse me, Guardians.
No, they were the Indians during this time.
Is that what the question is?
Yep, Cleveland Indians.
Okay.
This is a tough one. This is really hard. Maybe harder than any of the other ones.
Oh, who only played for the Indians?
Not many.
They trade him all away pretty fast.
I will tell you this. He died in 2002.
Oh, okay. Well, that doesn't help.
For that reason, I'm not even guessing. I don't know.
It is really hard.
Kenny Lofton.
It's hard. It's harder. It's harder than any of the other ones. Mel Harder.
I don't know. I'm not guessing.
I don't know. I'm not guessing a dead man.
Mel Harder.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. Oh, nice.
All right. Last one worth a point. And if Toby gets it and James doesn't, then I will give it to
Baltimore Orioles, Cal Ripken Jr.
This one is going to the Boston Red Sox. Toby gets it. We'll do a tiebreaker.
Let's go. Did he play somewhere else? Wade Boggs.
Oh, this is awful.
The reason I ask this is because this is the longest career that anyone has ever had on one team. This player recorded over 3,000 hits, won 7 Gold Gloves.
Well, it's between 2 guys for me.
He has 1 MVP, 18-time All-Star.
Gosh.
Five, 4.
Hold on, let me tell you my other one once James.
I can't think of anyone off the top of my head.
All right, Toby.
Hold on. It was between Boggs and Yastrzemski. I'll go with Boggs.
It is Yastrzemski. Carl Yastrzemski spent 23 years with the Red Sox, tied with Brooks Robinson as the longest career ever on one team.
Oh, well, Brooks Robinson would beat Cal Ripken.
Yep. All right.
Dang.
So, James, you get to host trivia next time. Congratulations. This has been the Swing Bump Podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back next week, wrapping up the Elite 8 of March Madness, giving you our full baseball preview as well next week, who we're going to pick to win divisions, conferences, World Series, top 5 players at each position, etc. It should be a fun week. James, what's up? Oh, the brace. Yeah, people can't see your finger on the podcast unless they're watching YouTube.
Exactly. Watch YouTube, people.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you next week.